Kaboom.
Hi everyone, tis I. Mike decided to go live by saying I think kaboom, which was just that threw me off more than Emily's usual nonsense.
Which I didn't do.
Yeah, I was all prepared for that, and then that didn't come, and then I got kaboom instead. Like,
oh god, Kath and Emily are in the wrong places on the screen.
Jesus
fucking
Christ, Michael!
God in heaven.
I can't hear Emily, or is Emily just being quiet?
I've just not said much.
You were mouthing a lot, and I was like,
Emily was adhering to the politeness of the medium that we are in. Thank you, Emily.
For a change.
Emily can have a house point.
Emily,
Yay,
thank you.
points.
Emily, thank you.
Emily, we thank you for your service.
you're so well behaved.
Enjoy it while it lasts, folks.
Oh no, that was Emily's one.
That's it. That's all you get.
That's 2021's.
I'm gonna blow up the warp core now. Hey, thanks, Roomba. But welcome, friends. Welcome, one and all, to this latest episode of Star Trek Iskandar, part 2 of The Midst of Chaos. Episode 14. What a number. We've been at this for some time. What a time we've had. What if I just turned this into a clip show and Mike was like, hey.
No, fucking
We
do
should
it.
do a clip show on.
You tell me what episode you want to clip from. I'll just put random
We should legit do a clip show.
So Mike shows a random clip and then I go, ha, what a crazy time that was.
I mean, I've got that clip show somewhere of Izzy's greatest intros. So
Oh shit, we do have that.
Yeah, no, that is true. At some point, ask on Discord, on our Discord, we will link Kath's amazing supercut of my intros, which were a lot.
I don't know why I did that.
What?
It was genuinely one of the nicest things someone's ever done for me. I felt so seen.
I mean, I know why I did it because it, like, in terms of the funny, but when I was just like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to spend several hours just going through, downloading all of these YouTube videos so I can then snip, like what a weird thing to do.
You will have heard me say so much just nonsense. And like, I've gotten quite good at my intros. They used to be a lot worse.
I wouldn't clip anything from this, for example.
Wow. Well, I can say what I want then. Pantaloons.
Fuck today, apparently. Not noteworthy at all.
I don't know why that shocked me so much. I was like,
Which part was it?
I don't need to be sworn at. I don't need to be sworn at by this man.
I'm sorry. I won't swear again for this entire stream.
This is a
no, you fucking won't.
This is a non-swearing stream.
This is a family stream. This is a Christian stream.
This is a wholesome universe.
This is a family stream. There'll be none of that or any of those things.
Well.
So
just kick Emily now.
Mike, can you just put a big like redacted bar over Emily and mute them? That'd be great.
Do I have that asset? I can't find the panel offline asset. I could.
Nevertheless, welcome to this latest adventure of Star Trek Iskandar. For those of you who are not accustomed with our ways, weird place to start, but you know what? I admire it. I admire you for your commitment to doing your own thing. We four, being Mike, Izzy, Emily, and Kath, are the crew of the USS Iskandar. Characters listed below. We gather together here and take it in turns to GM sessions or adventures of this game that we are gaming. It's a lot of fun.
I take back my earlier comment.
You cursed me, Kath.
This game that we are game.
You should have believed in me.
What we do, we have game and we get game. Yes.
Game the game.
Yes.
I've not been well, and everyone's being mean to me.
I was very
supported your
about
nonsense
2 minutes earlier.
You're being supportive in a mean way. But yeah, that's what we do. It's great. you should watch us do more of this. I'm sure that our current storyteller, Michael, will give you a rundown on the situation as it stands. But if
I
you,
hope he does, because I can't remember things.
if you want to know more about
Captain's log.
if you want to know more about the crew or the story or whatever's happening so far, all of our adventures are currently available on YouTube. And of course, just ask. I'm sure people who are us or viewers who are regular viewers will be happy to answer questions in the chat. Aside from that, I'm going to hand over to Michael and
Superb.
fucked it. Fuck the landing.
A quick note.
No, you nailed it. You got it.
Thanks for
No one noticed. No one saw anything.
I don't think helps and hinders are functioning still. Is it that you can still redeem it, but we won't see it?
Streamlabs is a nightmare sent to us to punish us for our wicked sins.
Okay. And yeah, so that's the answer to that. If there is a capacity to spend points, by all means shout out that you've done so in the chat. Otherwise, don't.
Spend money and tell Michael.
Tell Michael when you spend the Michael. I honestly didn't mean to say Michael a
Spend the
second
Michael.
time.
Tell the Michael.
Oh no,
That's our new. That's our new
I've
slogan.
cursed everyone. I'm the bad guy.
Next week we'll be doing part 2 of this arc again, because if this is
This is an all intro special.
Yeah.
The all intro special.
This is USS Iskandar. Oops, all intro.
Christ. Okay, focus up, people. Focus up. Come on. Come on.
No, shan't.
I do have a serious point before we get into it. I just wanted to I have a quick statement I'm going to go through. In recent months, an issue that Twitch has failed to repeatedly address, that of hate raiding, has grown increasingly severe. There are content creators who are being forced off the channel by the degree of harassment that they are facing. What happens in these raids is that bots flood a channel's chat with extremely hateful and hurtful rhetoric, and they are typically targeting LGBTQA plus and ethnic minority creators, which gives you a kind of sampling of how bad that situation is. A Day Off Twitch, which is, you can follow it, hashtag A Day Off Twitch on Twitter, is encouraging creators not to stream and viewers not to watch Twitch on September the 1st, 2021, which is tomorrow. Frankly, we only didn't get to make a decision because we stream on Tuesdays, but I would not have been running this had this been a Wednesday game and it fallen along that date. But in light of the fact that, you know, we are one day off from that event, I wanted to just take a moment to raise awareness, kind of reflect on that situation, encourage anyone who can participate to take part of that boycott and show support to content creators who have been impacted by these raids especially. Thankfully, that's not been directly us, but there's a lot of reading out there.
It is especially meaningful to us since we stream in this in the LGBTQIA tag, because every person that you can see on screen at the moment is some form of interesting. Interesting.
I have a statement.
Just as well, because I was going to say queero, because
Queero.
like I had to make it do things.
Kath wins. Queero.
Some sort of queero.
Some sort of queero.
Tag yourself. Are you queer, interesting, or queero?
Yes.
It has infected all of us.
I can't wait to see Far From Home, where queero will be there.
Queero for the straight, though.
Queero for the straightos.
I'd watch that.
That sounds like the intervention when you're at like the hets are at it again. The heteros are upsetteros. You get queero for the straighto.
Queero for the hetero.
Superb. So Last time on Star Trek Iskandar, the Iskandar, in its fairly diminished capacity and trustworthiness within Starfleet, has been given a convoy assignment to lead some delicate equipment in a 6-vessel convoy through into the Hacet Expanse.
6 vessels. Does that include us and the Tovos, or exclude us and the Tovos? Or exclude us but include the Tovos?
It is 6 civilian vessels,
Cool.
the Tovos and the Iskandar. There's only one civilian vessel that you've spoken to directly, who's kind of managing all of the smaller vessels.
I'll send Cantos, so you have to do all of those NPCs and make all of them unique and fascinating.
No. 5 ships die in an instant.
I didn't get to flirt with any of them.
This campaign is a adaptation of the Star Trek Avengers Living campaign, Convoy SE-119 by Jim Johnson, a name you'll hear every time I steal his or her or they's creative works. But yes, after a briefing with Captain Casera of Starbase 621 and a meeting with the captain of the Tovos, Captain
Sonnet Nido, Gull Sonnet Nido.
Gull Sonnet Nido, who left quite an impression, particularly on
what a bitch,
utter turd woman.
She's very tall.
Extremely tall turd woman. She.
I have to ask more questions about what is Captain Hassan's type, because Hassan was just like, what a bitch.
Yes, you met also with the primary civilian vessel, the SS Coronis, captained by Bertrand Vaughn, and with his Cardassian associate, Cad Crilton, who you met in engineering. Who I have flippantly described as engine lesbian, and I don't think that's incorrect.
Michael, I need to step in now and say that you described her as engine lesbian, and you described the Cardassian girl as step on me lesbian.
Also, you started to describe her clothing as a combination of like dungarees and 90s Trek civilian clothing, bus upholstery style. So we knew she was gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
She could only be gayer if the shirt was plaid.
Yeah.
She's 2016 Ghostbusters
plaid.
Kate McKinnon gay.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Oh. Yeah.
Hopefully she's less of a turf.
Oh dear, I did not know that. I would not have made that reference.
I'm sorry if I've ruined Kate McKinnon for anyone.
It sounds like Kate McKinnon ruined herself. The journey was to the Hacet Expanse, which is a particularly fraught area of the Panulan system, which borders Cardassian and Federation space, hence the combined effort of the Tovos and the Iskandar. It is a constant roiling, surging mass of potential and occurring electromagnetic storms, of which there had to be many tweaks to each system in order to facilitate the high level of accurate data and reflections that will be needed in order to navigate it. And we just left off pre-commercial break with Gull Sonnet Nido reciting some perhaps unwise poetry.
You sassy bitch.
From Shokal's The Awakening and the Slaughter. And then, communication started getting a bit whammy, and both vessels and the civilian vessels plunged into the Hacet Expanse proper. One other thing worth noting is that our beloved Ensign Adam Strange
By
beloved
whom?
beloved has an asterisk next to it. Your mileage may vary. Has been temporarily assigned to the Tovos, and is working under an engineer Sot Vel, to conduct some of the changes on the Tovos' side and make sure that they're up to ship shape. And you have had up and coming rising superstar Glyn Halmid associated with the Iskandar, who is a very young, very short girl, who has shown engineering capacity. So, to round up where we are from in an emotional vector, the last hour of traversing the Hacet Expanse through warp has been rough. Naturally, due to the vast quantities of space that exist within space, it is still a warp journey that you are undertaking, but now that level of pinpoints overcorrection that had been trying every staff member aboard the Iskandar for the duration of the journey from the starbase to the Expanse's outskirts is starting to really pay off. These surges threaten warp travel and emerge in a matter of seconds, and so you are constantly broadcasting as much as can be broadcasted to the convoy, to the Tovos, and they're broadcasting back at you with slight but very necessary course corrections essentially every couple of minutes, just to make sure that you aren't struck by any force that would give you severe damage. If you were basically struck by lightning while going light speed, very, very bad times. How's, because I know Athan was a little bit glad of the extra pressure that was being put on the staff.
Yeah.
It is crunch time. This is where it all counts. Is she still kind of what is her current mode? Is she very kind of sit back, watch it happen?
No, because this needs, well, like, she doesn't micromanage anyone's work because that really doesn't help. But she will, be pulling a lot of bridge shifts, supervising things, making sure people are actually like doing their jobs in a managing the way, like don't get flustered, don't drop the ball, that sort of thing. Like, she's, for all the son's being an asshole, she's still being an asshole who will put the hours in herself as well.
Mm-hmm. Good, yes. That very much dictates the current mood on the bridge. It is very fraught, very tense. Every 10 minutes that goes by, a minor disaster that could have been a much worse disaster has just been averted. It is a constant struggle. You're not at the fastest warp. I imagine kind of warp 2, if that is such a warp.
Yeah.
Because
warp 1 is basically light speed.
Yeah.
But it then gets exponentially faster from there. Yeah.
And the civilian vessels will not be able to do like higher warp, even if you would want to, in this current circumstance. So yeah, you're powering on through. Yeah, let's go. First of all, let's go see Adam Strange.
Oh dear.
So you
How bad a day am I having?
Sorry, what was that?
How bad a day am I having?
It's not that bad. The Tovos, much like the Iskandar, it's a lot of high pressure situations, but almost the advantage that you have right now is that because you're Starfleet and you're basically just here to do a job, when it gets to high pressure situations, the Cardassians are just working over you, essentially. So you've been basically tucked into a corner left doing kind of rudimentary surface scans, and yeah, you're kind of at one point. I've got all my notes in a pretty bad order. I do apologize. Let me get his name. Glyn Vell will saunter up to you and say, well, we've breached the Expanse, and so far everything seems to be going according to plan.
Good.
I am happy to have you here if you think that your eyes are necessary. If you want some time off from active duty, now is a good time to take it, I think.
I don't know if my eyes will be necessary down here, but I guess I'd rather be here just in case something happens.
That is absolutely fine. I'll tell you what, we have some access points to some of the some mechanisms around the back of the ship that I wouldn't mind your eyes on, just to make sure that there haven't been any disruptive changes since we hit the Expanse. Can I ask you to go and attend to that?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. He turns and goes back to ignoring your presence.
Sorry, whereabouts do you need me to go?
There's that very slow glance over the shoulder. You're just getting at the corner of his eye, pull it into sight. I forgot you're not. Could you take?
Yeah, sorry, still not completely familiar with where everything is on the Tovos.
No. Oh, I imagine you've not been shown quarters either.
No.
I'm
not
sure that
yet.
will happen in time. But please, if you can, a Cardassian steps forward and kind of extra isn't paid enough to talk, nods towards the door, and you are led out into these unfamiliar corridors.
Okay.
You get the impression that the major engineering area isn't too far away from this equipment that you've been asked to look for. It's basically like stabilizers, just kind of like back of the ship mechanics from this fairly front forwards design. The equivalent of Jeffrey's tubes. I don't know who the Cardassians would name them after.
Whatever the Cardassian equivalent of Jeffrey is.
Yeah, you're stuck in those. You're given a few. You're given essentially on your pad a blueprint of ducts that you are to work in, and you are set to work. It's hot. It's cramped. This isn't like the kind of broad-spaced Jeffrey's tubes that you will get on the Iskandar. It's very very
Cardassian
narrow
Jeff's tubes are
spaces.
much smaller.
Yeah. This is a machine built for war first and foremost. So access tubes are mostly compressed to as small a place as they can be, because then the additional real estate can be given to firepower and other such important metrics. So yeah, you're kind of, for want of a better word, stuffed in a tube and left to your own devices for the time being.
Okay.
You still have your comm badge on you. I say comm badge. I think that's the right term for it. Your badge.
Yeah.
But you've not been contacted directly by the Iskandar in this time.
Okay. Should I have?
It's a maybe, like a yes and a no. It's not too surprising, particularly if everyone's being on, like, if everyone's on active duty with the kind of conditions that you find yourself in, then not too surprising. But equally, at some point you would anticipate someone would check up on you
Yeah,
to
just
make sure that it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Keep an eye on that. I'll not check in with anybody just yet.
Yeah.
But once it gets from not too surprising to bit surprising, then it might be a kind of still there.
Yeah, you can exist on the not too surprising threshold for the time being.
Yeah. But just
yeah,
file that away for later concern.
yeah, and you kind of start elbow crawling your way to where you're meant to be. On the Iskandar, I want someone to be in the holodeck.
Doing what?
Recreational holodeck activities.
I imagine then it's probably Arcady, since they're not necessary for the mission at hand. And they like holodeck time.
Put both in there.
Yeah.
Wine
Let's get
envies?
the envies.
NV holodeck times?
Oh my god, the wine envies of the other ship's holodeck idiots. They're the ones that,
Of course we are.
There.
come in. They're the ones that come into the scene in like Renaissance gear and go, what were you doing? Nothing.
Nothing.
No, that is superb, and I haven't given Kantos nearly as much attention as I gave them in the last game, so that I ran. So yeah,
Which is fine because they got a lot of attention last game.
Then remember, my question is, what are the wine envies doing in the holodeck?
Oh, what are the one MBs doing on the holodeck today?
And I think if the GM wants to suggest anything hilariously thematic as well, that
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Open to suggestions for what's either most thematic or least thematic for maximum clash.
you've got the three schools of Trek holodeck usage. You've got the we're on the Enterprise and we do very esteemed period drama things, or like Sherlock Holmes or like Napoleonic Wars. You've got the Bashir and O'Brien, we're gonna reenact the Alamo and all sorts of other things. Or you've got the full-on Voyager, which is like either we've recreated this bad Irish village, or welcome to Hawaii levels of.
you've just done Riser, so I feel like we're edging towards maybe more living novel territory.
LARPing.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
LARPing.
I think you guys got to be LARPing.
Yeah, I think so. Oh no, you've had an idea. What are we laughing, Izzy?
I see the scene. Roomba, do you trust me?
Yes.
We set the scene. It's a smoky kind of 1940s 1940s Earth. So something Kantos has picked up vaguely when last they were visiting family.
Yes.
Kantos, the camera pans up. Kantos is in some period appropriate suit with hat.
Of course.
And is doing something and is delivering some line in like a particularly gruff northern accent, and is doing the full I'm a serious northerner, I'm in a suit, I'll shoot you with my gun, being I can't be Kantos, I'm not suave enough. And it's 1940s bank robbers, and it's like give me the thing, I'll get you, or I'll shoot you. And then out the back with the bag in full dress and heels ensemble. Yes. Because with the bag over the shoulder, because Kantos and Strange, no, Strange isn't there, Kantos and Burov are doing glamour bank robbers. We're doing
like Bonnie and Clyde, aren't we?
Glamour bank robbers.
Yes, I am very here for we are Bonnie and Clyding this.
But it's England, because Kantos
of course.
would never play an American holo novel.
No, of course not. It's somewhere between Bonnie and Clyde and Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, Burov runs out in low heels, and a comfortable dress, bag over shoulder. I think the alarm was tripped. We have to go.
Kantos kind of like they've got somebody by the scruff of the neck while they're also holding a gun, and they just kind of like throw that, like give that the person they've got a shove. Right, you get to the door, and then they start kind of menacing people whilst Arkady gets to the door with the loot.
Do they have a Tommy gun?
Of course they have a Tommy gun.
Tommy guns. Arkady gets to the door, and you hear that kind of row of police siren of the era, and megaphone outside. It's like, Harper and Duncan, we know you're in there. Come out with your hands up.
You'll never take us alive. Back door. Now.
Down with the fuzz. Arkady is holding their Tommy gun.
Like kind of stifles a giggle after they get to go. You won't take us alive.
You've got that guy by the scruff still. You've kind of dragged him one way, you've dragged him another.
Oh yeah, he's not coming with us as a hostage while we go for the door.
You got to ditch him. So
okay.
You shove him back.
Shove him. Yeah, shove him.
Freezes mid-fall, and behind him, the surrounds of the bank, patches of it flicker out to the metal and cross-hatched bars of the holodeck. There's some audio static, and everything goes very, very still.
Did we break it?
I don't think we broke it. We've done this one before, and it was fine.
Computer, run diagnostic.
There's a little blart from the computer as it it judges you.
Computer, what's going on? I just didn't like it.
No, it's big
Computer,
blart.
why is the ref called time freeze?
Yeah, there's like the sound of acknowledgement, but you know how old computers would start to click when their processing would start to max out, whatever the Star Trek equivalent of that is, it's trying to fix through some problems.
Okay.
The patches are like fading, rebuilding, and then everything dims for a moment, and you think, oh, the program shut it off completely. And then it all goes bright, noise, the guy falls back, the front doors come in, a bunch of Klingon warriors come charging into the program, screaming, today is a good day to die in Klingon. This isn't part of the program typically.
Did you add the Klingon cops? I thought we were going to do the Klingon cops in something else.
No, that's it. They've got cop hats on.
Of course they've got cop hats on. Like, the rest of what they're wearing is normal Klingon clothes, but they've got, like, 1940s cop hats on.
Oh, no. Klingon cops was in Fantasy Lunaris.
You're right.
No, we were trying to go all authentic with this.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought, which was wasn't expecting the Klingon cops.
I'm wearing a girdle.
I've got this.
They're charging. They've got truncheons.
I've got a flat cap on and everything. We're going authentic, but oh well.
I guess we run.
Yeah, we're just gonna roll with it. I think and go. Oh well, I guess there's a slight malfunction, and our cop is a Klingon.
I guess we kill them.
I guess we fight the Klingon Pope.
No, wait. Well, certainly Kantos is going to continue to go for roll with the plan as intended, and carry on going out the back door.
We are continuing to cheese it, for it is still the fuzz.
You run. Again behind you, like stripping wallpaper away as you're running. You get these odd glimpses into the real world as parts of the holodeck kind of fizzle out and then rebuild themselves. You burst through the back door and you stop teetering on the edge of a drop down to a mountainous summit. In your view of it interrupted only by the pterodactyl that flies beneath you.
Well, this is weird.
Computer end program.
There's that little blast again. The Klingon popo start piling down the corridor.
get to the car?
Yes.
You say
So
that.
what?
No, you say get to the car. Between you and the Klingon police officers, the roof caves in as a 1940s vehicle crashes front first into the ground between you, cutting the police off, but also being mostly destroyed in the drop.
Maybe not the car. Maybe not this car. Different car.
Are
We
you
could steal a car.
are you certain you didn't accidentally get some sort of liminal fever dream holo novel?
I'm pretty sure we just picked up the same program that we've done before.
Oh yes, this is the series, but
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the next one in the series, and I'm fairly sure this wasn't going to be the weird one. I'm pretty sure that's like another 3 down the line.
Computer voice chimes in. One moment. The scene fades out. It fades back in. You're back in the foyer. The man is back in his partially shoved state. Maybe he'll never land.
Restarted, I guess.
okay.
And it chimes in with program reset.
No, end program.
Computer.
One moment. Ending program. And everything dissolves.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll have to speak to engineering once we are out of the funny zone.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
That is a shame, but oh well. We
Do you
can pick it up later after the engineers have fixed it up.
Well, we're still dressed fancy. Do you want to come back to my room, listen to Earth music, and drink wine?
Sounds like a plan.
I actually think I have something from this era. Well, like, maybe 40 years hither or thither.
It's only 40 years. I'm sure that's close enough for authenticity.
How much can music really have changed?
Exactly.
Skrillex.
ACDC.
Cancels kind of offer Arcady their arm
Yeah, Arcady.
to go and stroll off to Arcady's quarters.
Superb.
Back in Black plays as they leave.
Like an electro swing version of it.
Abigail Ray.
Got postmodern jukebox in. Yeah.
You're in engineering. You're doing engineering shit. Like this oh, I swore.
It's great.
I didn't swear.
Well, get out.
Oh, bye. Yeah, this is hard work. It's not work that you're incapable of doing. You're a very capable engineer, but it's tough, and you're really getting that vibe. It's not helped by the fact that the lights in this room, the warp core, keep fading to near complete darkness, so that you're only illuminated by the core and any view screens that are nearby.
Rose has picked up a torch like the second time it happened, which she's kind of got like a small one, which she's just sort of got jammed in her mouth, and there's one which she can turn it on with her tongue. So like the moment the lights go,
Impressive and frightening. Kingston walks in.
Oh, look, it's an engineering lesbian and a step-on-me lesbian.
All in one. That's what we do with the Iskandar. We just bring two tropes together and mash them up, and that's a character. Kingston walks in as the lights dim, kind of goes, well, that's not improved. Expanse? I mean, it's Expanse, but go back to work.
Stupid fucking question.
Kingston gains no joy. Yeah, it dims. The light, you turn
on
on
the
the
torch.
torch. And yeah, you're getting these blips all over. I mean, apparently recently there was a computer malfunction, data lag, and slight corrupted data in the holodeck.
Who gives a fuck?
Who gives any fucks about that?
I'm trying to make sure that matter and antimatter are going to collide and not kill us all. So who gives a fuck about secondary systems right now?
Yeah. In fact, you're genuinely at the point where you consider maybe just turn these off.
I don't even know who's got the time. Frankly, if someone's got the time to go into the holodeck right now, fuck them.
Superb. Yeah.
That was a scene. Kingston was going to talk to Reyes, but Reyes didn't respond because Kingston was stupid.
Yeah, I was going to do like, maybe this is an opportunity to show how Reyes does the rest of the crew, but he led with a stupid question. So that scene died.
I mean, arguably that has absolutely shown how Reyes deals with the rest of the crew. Ask a stupid question.
Oh, no, right. Here's what you've got, you motherfucker, because I've got something else planned. Case saunters off. You're looking at your bits and pieces. The lights dim again, and then there's a slight whirring noise, and Dr. Light is stood behind you.
Does someone turn you on here, Doctor?
Assessing situation. Patience is flatlining, and he approaches you.
Okay, computer, freeze the LMH.
A little blart noise as it does not respond.
Stepping away from the hologram, which has
reaching for you. He's saying, "I'm going to have to ask that we restrain you so that we can work on restarting your heart."
Do I have access to anything immediate for like power? Because if I can just cut the power to the holo emitters right here, that would be great.
There's a panel that you can get off the wall to do that, I would say.
Gonna go do that real quick. Because hologramming emitters, non-urgent, frankly.
He's pulling out a device that's whirring with that electronic pulse of a defibrillator. And he's like, "This will only take a moment, and it's for your own safety." You grab the panel, hit the button, and he just shrinks out of being.
Go over to the... So now we've had 2 holographic software-based problems. Now it's time to take a quick look at our computer issues. This appears to be software currently rather than hardware, but let's run a quick level 3, the quicker the higher up you go, diagnostic on everything which is associated with our holographic programs.
Go ahead, give me an electronics roll.
You mean an ops?
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking of.
I don't know what. I don't know either.
Electronics has never been a thing.
Ooh, 7.
That's powerful. That's free invocations level of power later on. You can get right. First things first. The screen scroll of the text is slowed. Another frustrating point, but something that actually tells you that it's not solely the holographic emitters. Basically, every system on this ship is dealing with fluctuations. You're getting a lot of light pulses, a lot of cross-device data lag. It is, at the moment, primarily to do with the secondary systems. No one's like depleted oxygen or being vented into space while your back has been turned. And to be honest, that is as a result of the hard work that you've been putting in, both at this moment in time and all the work that has gone into this, that whenever there are weird surges in the primary systems, they're being dealt with quickly. But it means that the secondary systems are just fucking up all the time.
No, I'll talk to Talandra. Reyes to Talandra.
Talandra, here, go ahead.
Commander, I'm looking at a bunch of minor level malfunctions across secondary systems across the ship, because frankly, anything that can go wrong will go wrong right now. So I'm actually going to recommend that we basically turn off all non-essential computer programs running, anything for leisure, any scientific analysis which doesn't need to be done right now, because otherwise that's going to have us chasing bugs, problems, which I don't have the personnel to take the time to go and fix.
Do you believe there is any great risk of danger, Lieutenant? Sorry, I've been in Regency recently.
Well, I did just have the LMH try to defibrillate me.
Understood.
I think a lot of things aren't going to be that extreme, but it's just making sure that we're not getting distracted by non-essential processes when someone could pick up a book.
This seems sensible, Lieutenant. I shall pass your recommendations on to the captain.
Thank you, Commander. Yeah, I'm gonna double check that the LMH isn't manifesting somewhere else to try to kill them. I get to work to make sure the LMH is, let's just start with, for the moment, turn off all holographic emitters everywhere but sickbay, because it's rare that we need the LMH anywhere but sickbay, and I can turn them on in other places. And if it kills Dr. Burov, then I will have to deal with that. Then we'll need the LMH. And also put a note down for sickbay of your LMH might be malfunctioning.
We considered installing it in the ceiling.
EMHs can use the comm system. They have a badge like anyone else, right? Not Voyager.
Well, technically, they theoretically could, yes. Because one, the EMH and Voyager is an emergency program turned on for years at a time, and two, this is a long-term medical hologram, so fuck knows. But it can if you want it to.
Yeah, you get a chip from Dr. Light. Dr. Light to Lieutenant Reyes.
Reyes here.
I would just like to extend my sincerest apologies. I have become aware of a misunderstanding in my programming that I've only just been able to reassess.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to be confining your program to specific parts of the ship, so run a self-diagnostic, and, well, I'm going to say don't be activated, but I think that you're malfunctioning right now, and I'm not sure why I'm taking the time to explain it to you. So, Dr. Burov will be managing you.
I appreciate the time that you've taken to explain it to me, and I will be running that diagnostic post-haste.
Okay. I hang up on the software. Clippy is telling me that it's ill.
Clippy apologized for being Clippy.
I mean, Clippy malfunctioned and tried to kill me.
We're mad at Clippy.
I don't need... Even if, you know, Reyes is not as quite as cold as she makes on, she still doesn't need the LMH to apologize to her. Like, my feelings aren't hurt.
And yeah, you kind of... I'm just going to stick with you for a little bit, because I just want to put Reyes through the ringer a little. You come off that call, the light goes on, and through all of this, kind of stood in a corner of the room that you weren't really paying attention to. Glyn Helmet is stood there.
Oh.
Don't you have the capacity to authorize the secondary systems being taken offline yourself?
What are you doing? Why are there always... Why are Cardassians letting themselves into my engine room?
I've been assigned to you.
I have the physical authority to do so in an emergency. But right now, this is a recommendation to make my life easier. And so it goes up through the command staff.
I understand.
It's a question of ship operations management rather than making the ship work the best way it can. everything's about balances. If everything only happened the exact way I wanted it to, no matter what, the most efficient thing, then it would compromise the ability and capacities of other departments. It's a resource balance game.
That makes sense. I didn't rate the other engineer, the one that asked the stupid question.
Yeah, of course it's the Hacet Expanse.
It seemed evident to me, but
People like to chit chat to make noise.
that seems like a waste of time.
Yeah. I can't make chit chat now. I have to proceed to my next task.
No, at the same time, like, she gets a Cardassian pad and carries on doing something at the same time that you turn back to your work, and that seems fine for both of you.
I'm not thrilled at having this child Cardassian here, but like, I'm not thrilled at having anyone else around me, apparently.
If I can't get you bonding with Kingston, then you're going to be Halmid's best friend by the end of this. You're going to shape her into a young you.
Don't be a young Reyes, Halmid. But people are like, aren't you supposed to be with Casey? Go on, Nike. Role play that scene of Halmid and Casey.
No, he's deemed it fit to send it to engineering.
I was genuinely going to complain. I was like, that's a stupid thing to complain about.
I did, honestly, there was a part that I was thinking I could roleplay that scene to myself when I was preparing for this session. I was like, no. Like, there was a potentially really interesting scene I could do with two characters, but I thought, fuck that.
I mean, I, as a GM, would never personally set that scene up if I could avoid it. But right now, I, as a player, desperately want you to do that and to watch. And not just for your torment, but because I would like to see that scene. So I think actually players want to watch GMs make their characters bounce off each other much more than the GM thinks they do.
Well, I'll bear it in mind. If we get to the point where I thought about it, then I might do that. I might do Mike Puppet Theatre for us all.
Lieutenant Reyes, I have spoken to the captain. She set up a meeting between her, and Mr. Elrod in order to discuss the situation aboard the ship.
I said it needs to be interesting.
The Keymaster will be there.
The Keymaster. At least then I've got a distinct, separate fourth voice. Christ.
Vance is also teleconferencing in.
The Keymaster will be there, and we've got Vance coming in from Earth.
Also, we have all these Klingons.
All of the Klingons.
Yes, all of House Ratep are here. They've come to ask us questions.
Thank fuck, it's now the House of Luth.
The other brother.
Luth House. Yeah. Thanks, Kath. That'd be neat.
Good on.
Thankfully, none of my three characters really have much reason to extensively interact in an interesting way.
It's actually quite nice because of the way Athan and Reyes both are. They will talk only through Talandra, because if Reyes has to talk directly to the captain, either something has gone terribly wrong, in which case Athan will talk like, Reyes, do this, and Reyes is like, yes, and that's not a conversation. You can just say Athan tells Reyes to do this, and she does it. Or, like, it doesn't have to happen on screen. Anything that's important enough to be on screen is important enough to be like, Talandra, not a big deal. Could you do this? Absolutely. I'll get that sorted. I'll be in touch. Thanks. Like,
yes. It's not bridge interactions. It's not where, like, Reyes needs to explain her findings to the captain so the captain can then engage with the questions and the topic and then reach the important conclusions. It's not that.
And Athan's never been a Kirk-esque captain of like, I'm going to go down to engineering and see what's up. It's like, no. Gross.
My engineers don't want that.
No, please no.
No, help.
Help.
Back on the Tovos. Ensign Adam Strange.
Help
indeed. You've been running through some diagnostics on various mechanisms of this ship. From what you can tell, all of them seem to be working well.
Okay.
You have noticed, and this is unusual of any ship of this caliber, the odd bit of turbulence. You've checked the actual physical bodies of the systems that manage the stabilization of a ship and shield compensators and all of those discrete elements, and they seem functional. So either there is an excessive amount of electromagnetic force being thrown around, which is very, very possible, or it does put it in mind maybe one of the systems isn't compensating as much as it needs to. Plus, Starfleet engineer, what you tend to do with any kind of system upgrade or diagnostic is check on it every hour or so until your shift is over to make sure things are running ship shape. And so, yeah, you have been given a mind to go back to the main engineering chamber and just check up on things there again.
Okay. We'll crawl our way back through the Cardassian Jeff tubes, back to main engineering then, and ponder a way of working out which of the many systems on board the Tovos is going to be the easiest one to upgrade so that we don't have this turbulence.
Go ahead.
Because there is a problem here, and so we're going to fix it whether they want me to or not.
That is, I mean, you are actually alone in this room now at the moment too.
Oh, well then, in that case.
Exactly. Now it's time to get in the guts of this whole thing.
Hell yes.
Give me an engineering.
I'm sure they'll be extremely grateful for me rummaging around in their ship. They'll love it.
So
That's what I was here for, right?
Yeah.
Right? That's a 5.
5 is superb. You begin scrolling through some of the systems, looking at subsystems, secondary systems, all the kind of things that you can tweak and activate remotely on a phenomenally complex warship like this. You're in the process of assessing some of the stabilization secondary elements. You notice it because instinctively you go, okay, that's wrong, and you go in and change that system's caliber. And then you realize that the thing that you just turned on is something that you turned on when this ship was still docked. That is a reversion of some of the hypersensitive calibrations you had overseen before the ship set off. Bad news is you're basically on the changelog history of this device. That is now already noted that it's in Cardassian text, but it would read something like Starfleet officer has made this change. So
I can't go back through the changelog and go, when did this get turned off? Because by turning it back on, I've just overridden the thing in the changelog, and so it's updated.
Yeah, that is true of this system. But there are...
That's true of this system.
Exactly.
Aha.
You start browsing through it. Within the last hour, it's not every system, but systems that aren't concerned with propulsion, shields, and firepower. All other systems that have had like sensor arrays, that kind of thing, that had those changes reverted, about 1 in 3 changes have been reduced back to their original state.
Okay. What's the times on all of these, on the changes? Is it all about the same kind of time that this all happened? Or is it, one got turned off an hour ago, one got turned off 2 hours ago, and it's just been kind of sporadic? Or is it one person has gone into the system and just changed a bunch of things?
One person has gone into the system and changed a bunch of things. in the time that you have been out of the engineering chamber.
Okay. Is there a username or
Yeah.
something like that for who made the changes?
Yeah, Glyn Sotvel,
Cool. Cool.
Chief Engineer of the Tovos.
Yep. Cool. Thought it was going to be that. Well, we'll turn back on all the things that Vel has turned off.
Mhm.
Does all the turbulence kind of stop after I've turned everything back on?
Well, you start turning a few things on,
Yeah.
and then the room explodes.
Oh! Well,
Hi, Strange.
USS
backup
Iskandar.
character!
USS Iskandar.
Wow, all these times we've been trying to kill Strange off in various dramatic ways, and you just succeed by just blowing him up.
It's so easy. You just. Here's how you do it. Strange, you die.
Oh shit!
No,
Strange, you
it's
dropped
all
it.
any of you had to say.
My
That's
God.
all you had to do.
I can't believe we don't. Kath, we're idiots. We're always overthinking these things.
We shouldn't have been rolling dice at all. Strange, you
Just tell him
you're
he's dead,
dead.
You
and then
turn
you've
inside
got rid
out.
of him. Yeah.
Strange, please take the new aspect. Am dead.
Dead. Change your primary aspect to the deadest motherfucker on the planet. Question mark
so-
around planet.
The Tovos is blown up and is gone forever, and we just carry on.
Yeah.
We just Talandra doesn't even bother telling the captain. It's not newsworthy.
Probably not important.
Yeah, I think it's Talandra that gets the notification. There has been a detonation on board of the Tovos and it has dropped out of warp.
I imagine Talandra is on the bridge while Athan's in her ready room, as is standard for non-emergency shite, and she will ask for an immediate report from Kowalski, who I imagine was the one that made that report because scans and thing.
Yep.
And will unless he has anything world-ending to say that isn't, there's been a detonation, I think it's in engineering.
Yeah, no, he will also add, looks like a warp core breach.
Talandra doesn't take that pause because I know you probably haven't just killed off Adam Strange, but still. Talandra to Captain Athan.
Sorry, I'm just losing my shit. It's like a warp core breach, literally the worst thing that can happen aboard a ship. Being like, please hold while I get the captain.
Well, it's not
The captain
affected.
is unavailable.
Like
right now.
it's not affected us. She's instigated all the correct scans. This is now kind of above her pay grade.
Yeah, no, it's fair. Athan here.
What's the ship called? The Tovos.
Tovos.
Captain, there has been a detonation aboard the Tovos.
Like, Athan doesn't even answer. Like, there's a few seconds beat, and then she comes onto the bridge.
Talandra is already
Mhm.
getting out of the chair.
Yeah. She'll ask for the report, get the report, like, yeah. Yellow alert, signal the convoy to drop out of warp. Is this an ongoing detonation? Have they ejected their warp core?
Kowalski chimes. Getting some readings now through the interference. Doesn't look like there's been an ejection, nor does it seem like it's ongoing. Might not be as bad as initially thought.
Okay, I need you to keep assessing and scanning. Identify a possible detonation range if there is a warp core breach. Make sure that the convoy ships are outside of that area. Helm, bring us about. Also, someone hail someone. It's going to be Zal. Now it's tactical. Who's the phone boy these days? Lieutenant Zal, hail the Tovos.
Hailing now. There's an image comes on screen only briefly. It's very static and juddery. You're seeing a Cardassian figure, and the garbled voice of Gulnido comes in. Iskandar?
What's your status, Tovos?
Everything kind of statics up for a moment, and then you hear propulsion system. Still getting an idea of what has happened.
Is there any imminent danger to your ship or the convoy?
Does not seem to be at this juncture.
I've ordered the convoy to a halt. I'm getting them a distance away from the blast radius if your warp core breaches, as our initial sensor suggested. I'm going to bring the Iskandar closer so that if we can, if necessary, provide assistance, or if you need to ditch your warp core, see about an emergency evac.
The picture clears up, and the Tovos's bridge is in chaos. You can see a Cardassian slumped unconscious at a smoldering console. There's clearly it's they've had the sparks flying shot on the bridge. You get a look at her face, and you've not seen her like this. She's always been aloof, firm, aggressive, frankly. You're seeing, in fact, Athan, give me some kind of roll on this.
Empathy?
Yeah, let's go empathy.
I'm really good at that shit. Well, I rolled a -1, so that's a 3.
She has not been through something like this before. You're seeing moments of hesitancy on her face and in the way that she's responding. Her eyes are quickly flicking to consoles. You can also hear in the background that some reports are being given to her. There's a very much everyone hears a Cardassian in the background say that they are unable to gain any propulsion. She's seeming to struggle to get all of this information in one place.
Gulnido, I'm going to bring the Iskandar closer within transporter range, and I'm going to beam over some relief staff to assist you restore stability to your ship.
Yes, very good.
I'll be sending an engineering team to support Ensign Strange. I'll be sending a medical team. If you require any further assistance.
Delay on the medical and engineering team for now. I need to get a full assessment of my crew.
If you need a full assessment of your crew, then my medical team will be able to assist in the status of your crew and in the status of your ship.
We'll have this conversation again once you've been turned about.
Just give Kantos the. It's not a jaunty.
And the view screen blinks out as she hangs up. Good people, I apologize, but we're back. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, we're apologising for the fact that we're back.
Spot on. We regret to inform you that we are here.
The bullshit train continues.
Boop, boop.
Oh no, Michael, no! For fuck's sake!
Oh! Okay, I'm back. Jesus Christ, it scared the shit out of me.
Our dear beloved audience, we are sorry.
Sorry, everybody. Welcome back to Star Trek Iskandar. The midst of apology. When we last saw the crew of the USS Iskandar, the Iskandar was conducting an about turn to go back to the Tovos. and see the situation there firsthand. In this time period, you will get blips and notifications that the convoy is indeed dropping out of warp, as one would expect.
And
However,
to hang tight. Just
As
chill
the-
out for a bit.
Is,
As the
is everyone in
Iskandar-
the convoy okay? Have they been caught up in any like explodey?
you get a
thing.
shaky message from Cal.
Oh, we're misaligned.
Oh shit! Oh shit! You're right. Oh fuck! Oh
Such an idiot.
shit.
I was such an idiot because I moved everyone back around so that they were in the order I was accustomed to. I was like, did I do that? Then I'm like, no, I didn't. I don't have to fret with any of that.
And
We
then
blame
I
Crystal
swap.
for everything.
You just got it differently wrong.
God, is that right? No, that's not right either. Fucking Jesus! It's easier than ever before. Fuck. Okay, and I do
It
this.
is the GM
Is this
now.
right? No, that's
No.
still wrong.
No, you
This,
good. You good.
this,
No, that's worse.
this is right.
Stop!
This
Stop!
is-
We're good.
Dear
You good.
audience,
You good.
we apologize for the fact that we have to have a Michael. Unfortunately, it was a court order that was put on us. This is part of our service to the community to adopt a Michael. Adopt a Michael in your area today.
There are hundreds, if not thousands, of Michaels that need homes
Games
and
to run,
games,
friends.
some forgiveness.
For just 50p a week, you could sponsor a Michael.
Sponsor
Or a
a Michael
bicycle.
today.
Go to
Uh,
patreon.com
Forward
/Eat
slash
You Crew
Michael.
to join our special Micycle tier.
Jesus fucking Christ, we've just found the name for my tier.
Bicycle.
Sponsor a bicycle.
Oh my god, you're Micycle trash.
I'm bicycle trash.
Oh my god, we've been looking for your name and it was before us this whole time. Micycle trash.
Bicycle trash.
So how's the
Now,
convoy?
that my brain just wants to kind of combine recycle a bicycle.
That-
And make
okay.
something happen there with trash, but like that pun's gonna need workshopping.
Michael.
Real talk, my elder brother used to
It's
you
called
know the story.
recycle.
Yeah, he used to say, and this is when I was young. He used to say, "Recycle, Michael," and pick me up and move to put me in a bin, like industrial bin.
He knew you were trash all
This
along.
explains so much about everything about you going
forgot
forward.
to Recycle Michael.
I was terrified because I thought if he dropped me in the bin, I would go away.
You told me the first time you told me this, it was with a certain amount of earnest fear, and I just laughed and laughed and laughed.
Kat, that is why you are his best friend, because of the court appointment.
Yeah, like
Oh,
my
no.
mum found it hilarious.
Yeah.
and she knew she wasn't supposed to,
that's
and
good
so
parenting.
she'd be like, "Stop it."
Yep.
Stop
Mm.
it.
Don't. It's funny
I-
though.
I would be a bad parent because there is not a thing on God's green earth that would stop me just absolutely creasing if my young son was trying to put my even younger son into a bin, chanting.
Yeah, with a rhyme, a fitting rhyme.
It's too good.
It was powerful, powerful and terrifying.
So the Tovos is about to blow up, and people.
The Tovos is about to blow up. Civilian ships are dropping out of warp. You get a garbled message from the I don't have the page up, from the primary civilian ship, the Coronis.
Yes.
That
How's my buddy
seems to
Bertrand
indicate
doing?
all is fine, very fine, pretty bad but fine. No detonations.
Doing better than the Tovos then.
Then you get Kowalski saying, "Captain, we are about to hit the same turbulence that took out the Tovos."
Keep us a short distance away.
Hi, Captain.
So, Lieutenant Cantos, keep us out of trouble and continue to liaise with the convoy. Make
Will
sure
do.
that they're in good condition.
Captain, surge is
That's it.
rising.
And surge in our systems or in the anomaly?
Electromagnetic. He says it much quicker. He's a paid
Yeah.
actor. Electromagnetic storm surge. Quite
Moving
severe
us out
levels.
of-
We're going to need to move.
Moving us out of the storm.
Kantos.
Well, make the pilot check.
You are making a pilot check against what in Fate is called an obstacle.
Oh.
There is an eruption of electromagnetic storm around you. You are going to need to beat a +4.
Well, the dice have done that already.
Boom!
That's a critical success.
Bloody is. What even is my pilot skill?
That's
Actually,
probably a 10. You probably just rolled a 10.
I've probably got a 10 here. Yeah, I've got a 10. It was possible that like Candace might have a people skill as their 5, but no, that's. Does 10 succeed, Michael?
It has been known to succeed in many
Iskandar
games.
backflips.
No, here's the thing. You're getting that kind of ramped up, increasing severity report. Systems are flaring. We get the on-screen visual of this storm kind of erupting out of the void of space, and we see the shot of Kantos where he just kind of look at the screen, and it turns in a kind of a I've got this. The Iskandar does a very much kind of like lift, turn, and drop maneuver.
It's a barrel roll, Mike.
Yeah. Listen, I'm painting a word picture with my mouth.
Sorry, please continue with your mouth picture.
Lift, turn, drop. Start to plummet through the storm as it's surging. Naturally, there's absolutely no G-force on deck, and so you're all just kind of sitting here. But you get the kind of front screen visual of exactly the roller coaster ride that Kantos is taking you on.
Dampers are clearly not perfect because otherwise no one would ever need to do this.
That's true. This is grabby the chair territory.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody
else grabs the chair. Kantos does not grab their chair.
You even put out a command of impulse now, and you get this kind of upward swoop. Not only are you going to clear this storm with only superficial damage, but you are actually going to end up where you needed to be with the Tovos, well within sensor range, and a good safe distance away from the storm itself. Truly impressive piloting.
Antos does the equivalent of pulling up, rolling the window down, going, "You guys okay? You need a lift?"
Yeah, I think the way that goes is so you have like the visual of the flipping around the storm. Everybody else except Kantos kind of grabbing the chair as there's a bit of inertial wobble, and then impulse now, and that little burst of speed, and then like the second that stops, Captain Leopold up alongside the Tovos.
Good work, Lieutenant.
Tovos comes up on screen, like the right side of this Gainer. Is it Gainer?
Gaylor.
Gaylor.
Galor class. It's a
Gaylor
Galor class.
Gaylor.
Jesus.
Galor class ship has just been scorched on its aft, and yeah, you're fine. Impulse engine on the right hand side seems to be completely shot and somewhat smoldering. You can see that there's a lot of damage that kind of reaches up the main hull of the ship but doesn't reach the cockpit. Yeah, it is in bad shape. The odd kind of spark of sickening amber electricity kind of runs through it as the residual elements of the storm are peeling away from it.
Iskandar to Ensign Strange.
Cut to Ensign Strange.
Like?
You hear...
I thought I would say it in that tone. That was a cast tone, I realised.
You hear the voice of Captain Athan hailing you. It's coming from your comm badge, which you realize as the white seems to kind of peel away from your eyes and the world comes back into focus, is not on your chest. There's very little other than medical dressings on your chest. You are coming to in a Cardassian sickbay. A lot of green wall fixtures, bright red lights. 4 of them, maybe. I don't know. That's a deep cut.
I'm not counting.
No one's made that joke before.
Michael, I love genuinely that I wasn't listening. I feel like you were so proud of your joke, and I was like, "Oh, what's happened? What was going on?" I was checking something.
That was all the credit it deserved.
Okay, good.
So you hear that kind of distant Athan voice saying, Athan to Ensign, as I nearly said, Casey, Strange. You kind of open your eyes properly. 2 figures are swimming into focus, one of which is Captain Nido, and the other of which is Glyn.
Please call her Gull Nida.
Sorry,
Gull
forgive
Nido,
me.
because otherwise we get to Captain Nida, and I just
I apologize. Gull Nida.
Nido as well. Her name's Nido.
Nido. Yeah, I know that. I wrote that. She's mine. She's my baby. Gull Nido and Glyn Vel, the engineer. And kind of you've got this ringing in your ear that as it fades, you hear Vel saying, and you can see it there in the changelogs. Multiple of the systems were taken offline prior to the incident. And as the figures snap into focus, Gull Nido's she's looking a bit bruised herself. Mm-hmm. She turns to you and she is wearing a scowl forged from hell itself. She looks you over and says, "Are you feeling quite recovered?"
Certainly better than I was. What happened? Looks from one to the other.
Glyn Vel says the primary impulse system seems to have taken an overwhelming power surge as a result of the electromagnetic storm. And then Gull Nido says, because of systems that you deactivated.
Sorry, I didn't deactivate any systems.
Vel scoffs, but Nido raises a hand to silence him and says, "Ensign Adam Strange of the USS Iskandar, I do believe you've not quite been shown your quarters yet, have you?"
No, I haven't, Gull Nido.
She steps back.
Looking more at Vel during this conversation than looking at Nido, to be honest. As well,
he's got the slightest curl of a lip. 2 Cardassian soldiers step forwards and bodily drag you to your feet, and you realize just how much of your left side hurts as they do that. They do not carry you. They do afford you the capacity to walk on your own.
But I'm being properly frog marched down this corridor, aren't I?
Yes.
Am I able to grab my comm badge before they frog march me down the corridor? Or is that like too far for me to just quickly grab it before?
You can reach out, but one of your escort will
that's what I got.
slam their hand on the badge before you can take it.
Thought that might be the case.
And you are escorted. You've not seen Cardassian quarters before, but it doesn't take a master engineer to know that you are being escorted to the brig.
Yeah, I figured that was probably where I was actually going.
And just as you're rounding a corner, you're able to look briefly over your shoulder, and you again just see Vel kind of watching you leave. The smile snaps away, looks to Nido, and they start conversing again. She has not seen the shitty grin that he has.
Okay.
And you are taken to a very small cell. Looks open-fronted, but the force field that briefly flickers into life indicates that that is the barrier.
Yep.
And a Cardassian guard is just stood, arms folded, leaning against the wall opposite your cell.
I can't believe I'm going to have to fight this entire ship.
Right.
I'll beam Talandra over there. I will get shot in the head so fast for that boy.
Sad boy's in jail.
I mean, this is
Again.
only a matter of time, but it's not our jail.
No!
He's our sad boy.
For once, I might be in jail, but I did no crimes, despite all the times that I did crimes and didn't end up in a brig. The cause and effect is wrong here. Okay, so I'm in this jail cell, and there's a guard
Yep.
outside it, just looking.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
It says on the notes here, Strange must suffer. So
I mean, it is what he needs to do, so, you know.
you're the primary engineer character of this. Then yeah, sorry.
Yep. Gonna suffer.
The suffering tried to come for Reyes, and Reyes just went, "No thanks, too busy."
Yep.
Went, oh, so
Is
sorry.
he dead again?
Michael,
I'm back.
Michael,
I'm back.
Michael.
So
Oh, he's
annoying.
back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
He's back.
here's Michael.
With our apologies, Michael. Captain Athan, you ring out probably for the second time for Adam Strange. Not that as like a long time has not passed.
Yeah, but he doesn't
Um,
reply. Yeah.
There is no reply.
Iskandar to Tovos.
Visuals will come on. Nido is just walking back onto the bridge. Iskandar.
What's your status, Tovos?
We are in dire need of repairs, but our engineers are working hard to fix the damages that have been wreaked upon our primary impulse engines.
I'm struggling to get in touch with Ensign Strange. What's his situation?
At this moment in time, Ensign Adam Strange has been taken into quarters whilst we investigate the matter internally.
Going to have to elaborate there, Gull.
It looks like there has been some tampering done to the systems that were meant to lead us through the Expanse. Likely a contributing factor to the explosion that we have suffered.
Are you suspecting Ensign Strange as responsible?
We are investigating the matter.
I'll take that as a yes. So do you mean that Ensign Strange is currently confined to quarters aboard your ship?
That is correct.
That is unacceptable, Golnido.
We would happily surrender him to your own custody, but it looks like our transporters are also malfunctioning.
Well, I'm sure that the shuttle and my security chief and first officer can make sure that he's returned to us.
So long as you can spare the individuals in question?
It seems as if you're going to have a considerable amount of time repairing your own systems, Gull Nido. The Iskandar is, however, in perfectly fine fit condition. All systems operational within acceptable parameters. I can spare a shuttle and some security officers if your transporters are not functioning.
Back.
can
This is
hear
so
you.
annoying.
You're on
good.
audio, not visual.
She does that. She turns her camera off and just fuck.
she turns her camera off and just sits there muttering, "So annoying, so annoying."
Damn it! Why are Starfleet like this?
She says, given the luxuries afforded to you by the lack of damage that has occurred to the Iskandar in that same storm that struck us, then yes, it does seem like you do surprisingly have that capacity. So we will be glad to alleviate some of your forces to help with our own internal affairs.
Ah, very well. So you are accepting my assistance and the assistance of the Iskandar to get your ship operational and for a return of my officer. Excellent. Commander Talandra, please put together an away team, gather what necessary engineers are available. I will require Ensign Strange to be released from his quarters to continue to assist the ongoing situation. And I'm going to ask Mr. Elrod to also lend his expertise, as I believe he has more experience than anybody present in the operations of a Galor class ship.
In absolute like she's crisp and on point anyway because she's a Vulcan, but with absolute perfect in sync first officer loyalty, Talandra immediately just goes, at once, Captain, communicates on her panel and goes, contact. Normally she wouldn't go through all this. She's like, a message has been sent to Mr. Elrod. Lieutenant Zal with me. Talandra Reyes, prepare an away team for transportation immediately to the Tovos and a shuttle. Kowalski, a shuttle for immediate transport, and like begins to march out of the room, giving that West Wing-esque impression of, oh, our captain has made some instructions and I am on the ball and getting everything done.
Great to see Starfleet efficiencies at work.
I'm very sure that we can share that efficiency, Dolnido. Now, if I can please speak with my officer.
We will make arrangements.
I will not. Mr. Zal, you will be accompanying that team, and under no circumstances is the Tovos to keep Ensign Strange under any restrictions.
Understood.
Also, Kowalski.
Yeah.
Can you actually double check our transporter systems versus their shields and whether or not we can apply transporters through the anomaly? I have no doubt that one, it would suit her very well to tell us the transporters won't work, and also our systems are better.
I'm afraid to say, Captain, she's not entirely lying on that front. It's not going to be an easy job to get. Huh.
I need more than Lieutenant.
I do not believe that Ensign Adam Strange's comm badge is on his person.
What makes you say that?
Looking at where I'm getting the weak transmission from the badge from through this storm, that looks like it's on the bridge. We would have seen him.
Send a quick text to Talandra to say fuck him up to inform her.
Destroy everyone.
Inform her of that, and also the basic gist of this. I think they've illegally imprisoned our fucking officer.
As she's walking, Talandra does the eyebrow raise. Is walking with Zal and accepts it, begins immediately appraising herself of the protocols for if a Starfleet officer is accused of crimes whilst on a sanctioned away mission. You know, this doesn't fall under espionage, doesn't fall under this and this. Communicates the situation with Zal, and I think probably then immediately liaises with Elrad.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sounds like the more interesting scene to cut to than Zal and Talandra talking about what is and is not treason or espionage.
Although I will pop up there, I think Atharm's actual briefing to Talandra at that point is going to be the obviously like getting the Tovos in good condition is important, but so long as they have Adam Strange being held against his will, we are not going there to help them. We are getting our boy back, and everything else then gets negotiated from that point.
Given that she's probably like started at coordinating people and marched to Atharm's ready room for this briefing once she's done, Talandra will send another message to Reyes and will say, is the goal, Captain, that we are to remain in protective custody of him aboard the Tovos, or to bring him back to the Iskandar pending further investigation?
This is a delicate needle to thread. Come on, but let me think this through. Priority, above all else, is to recover Ensign Strange. We will not be rendering that ship any actual assistance, barring life-saving emergencies protocols, so long as Ensign Strange is not at liberty. I think we will hold on Lieutenant Reyes' team for the moment. Yourself, Mr. Elrad, Lieutenant Zal, and a security team. We will assess the situation of cooperation as and when they are recovered. By all means, I encourage you to go in and talk and discuss that you are here to recover Ensign Strange. I will be on the comms directly to Gull Nido. But this is talking our way to recovering our officer and providing any emergency relief. Nothing more.
If there is a possibility, Captain, that Ensign Strange has been harmed in the detonation aboard the Nido, request permission to take a medical team with me.
By all means, take a medical team, and as I say, provide any emergency relief for life-saving measures if necessary for the Nido. Even though they haven't asked for it, I'm not going to have any of their people die because their Gull is this stubborn.
Understood, Captain. Should we fail to make communication with you owing to the storm, are there any acting instructions?
The safety of your team is paramount. Do not get yourselves into a continuing chain of trouble for which people will need rescuing. However, you do have authorization to use force to recover Ensign Strange if necessary. This is not an acceptable stance for the Tovos to take.
It is not. And I know that you trust my judgment should communication be cut off, and we should not require rescue, especially if it is me and Lieutenant Zal on this away mission.
I know, obviously, if communication is cut off, then by all means, if necessary, use your better judgment and withdraw. I would much rather that we're in a situation, if necessary, for me to give the order. And frankly, if you have to use force, the Iskandar is in considerably better condition than her ship, and she will need to recognize that.
If the situation becomes dire, Captain, I shall ensure that, all things willing, we do not leave the Tovos without Lieutenant Strange, Ensign Strange.
Stupid rank boys. Yes.
No, it's because I saw Lieutenant Kantos and then a corpse, and that confused me. So I was like, Lieutenant Strange.
Adina corpse. Very good, Commander.
Who is on this away team, just for my reference?
Yeah, so we're not bringing Reyes because that would imply that we were going to help them, and we're not. Now they've abducted my officer.
You don't get more engineers until you give us this one back.
So it's Talandra, Zal, Burov, Elrad, and like Erotica and some dudes.
can't.
Frankly, it's a posse with Elrad and Burov riding shotgun.
Mr. Elrad, it's nice to be brought along on these trips, isn't it?
I will fuck them up.
Oh, we have come to this mission with different energies. I was just excited to be here.
So, you get yourselves into a shuttle. You depart. You are able, as you draw closer to the Tovos, link up with their communication systems. You do get the odd malfunction from, again, it's mostly minor technical aspects, but it doesn't interfere with the transportation. There is that moment as you're approaching the airlock to the hangar that it doesn't open.
Before we leave, actually, I feel Elrad needs to have a conversation.
You know what? You are absolutely right. Fuck me. I'll shut up. You please roleplay.
No, like, it was fine. And then I was like, actually, I have questions which cannot be taken for granted. Elrad. I think, in fact, when contacted, assuming especially as it's told, we need to recover an abducted officer, Elrad will calm Philandra. Commander.
Mr. Elrad.
Obviously, I assume that all diplomatic measures will be taken to recover Ensign Strange, so we can discuss the details when I arrive at the hangar bay, which means I only have one question with possible follow-ups. Do I need to be armed and equipped?
I believe that would be a necessary step, Mr. Elrad.
Simply for personal self-defense, or shall I see if someone here will give me a rifle?
Personal self-defense is all that is necessary, Mr. Elrad. We have a security staff should things become violent.
As you say. I will meet you in the hangar bay. He will do so. He will find himself.
Translation, babe.
Babe, chill out.
Babe, you're a diplomatic liaison.
Don't shoot your own people.
You're a diplomatic liaison. We have an Andorian himbo for the actual fightiness.
Just need to know the vibe we're going for.
Yeah, like translation to this is the vibe. Turns to Zal. Bring the big guns. They have our boy.
Zal just like tears the sleeves off his uniform.
Double wielding, disruptor rifles. Yeah.
Bandana tied around the forehead.
I'd go to bench press him to freedom.
Caddis.
Yeah, there's that
That's
moment.
Arcadia's, yeah.
No, Arcady breaks a bottle. Let's do this shit.
Arcady goes Glasgow style.
Well, yeah.
I've been learning from a dinner how to fight like a northern bastard.
I didn't teach him that.
I'm so fucked off right now that I have not in some way conspired so that Burov needs to fight small girl. Glyn Halmid versus Burov needs to happen, and I don't know how it possibly could.
I will kick you in the face.
These people are really lucky that I'm Starfleet and I'm not going to start taking hostages.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Fight.
no one's checked in on her, but she's definitely like caught wind of this, has gone and sat down somewhere, has her hands between her knees, and is kind of thinking,
getting a security officer to go, like.
I love the idea that Captain Athan's like, go and check on Helmut. The security officer walks in, she's just sat there swinging her feet, Reyes is still fixing a thing, and it's just like, you, how are you? Reyes has given her a thing to mend, and it's just like, I'm fine.
No, it's the opposite. She's gone into, okay, I'm going to be a prisoner soon mode. Like, there's some things that the young get bred in early in Cardassia, and it's, if I'm aboard an enemy vessel and something happens, I'm probably a hostage now. So she's gone to a corner, she sat down, she's facing a door, and when the security officer comes in, she stands.
If she's in engineering,
Reyes is going to look at that and go, "What are you doing? Get on with some fucking work."
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's.
are you working?
I'm waiting.
Have you received any orders?
No.
Then your last orders are to work in here.
You still want me to work on your systems?
Look, the way I see it, right now you're here to be an engineer, and if you screw around or screw anything up, we're not going to need security for me to deal with this problem. However, also, if they wanted to fuck around, they probably sent you because they didn't, they thought that it was acceptable for you to be a hostage. So far as I'm concerned, that means if you want to work, you can keep working.
I would like to keep working.
Then let's keep working. Listen, this is engineering. Sometimes it doesn't matter what's going on out there. They can talk and they can talk and they can talk. But if that warp core is going to breach, which it's not, but I'm just saying, if that warp core is going to breach, it doesn't matter what they're saying. What matters is in here.
Is this an unorthodox approach that you alone are taking as anomalous to Starfleet, or is this how Starfleet would approach this?
Well, Starfleet usually say treat everyone with, love, kindness, and respect wherever they are and put the best foot forward. But frankly, you're here to be one of my engineers, and this is the engine room.
I find that comforting.
Which bit?
The entirety of it.
All right, well, let's work.
Okay.
Don't make a big deal out of it.
I wasn't.
Good. She's keeping supervised because...
Yeah.
Reyes
I imagine there's still I imagine that interchange takes place when a security officer comes in and just stands in the corner, and you respond to her in that regard, but yeah, she goes back to work. It's slow at first, she's occasionally casting a glance over her shoulder, waiting for the other shoe to drop, but soon it doesn't seem like that's going to happen, and so she gets sunk into her work.
Also, because I really want it to be Ensign Kuvak, who's just come in and is just stone facing it. So she has absolutely zero read on this Vulcan security officer, and it's just is he just watching me? Is he coming to shoot me? And what's going on? And he's just I'm just gonna stand here. He's the good security officer to send to engineering because he doesn't get under Reyes's feet.
That is such a superb scene that underpins a lot of what I'm trying to do in this plot. That's so beautiful.
Suddenly, unexpectedly, Reyes has adopted this NPC, which was not how I thought this was going to go.
It was always how it was going to go.
I can hear that shit with the TNG 80s music cues in my head. I can picture that scene crystal clear.
See the whole
We've got the cutesy music scene to which my inner Reyes basically goes gay.
So yeah, we see the shuttle getting to the Tovos. There is you can tell as the airlock. I say airlock. You're in the hangar bay. You're met by a team.
Before the door opens, still.
Yes,
sorry, I am jumping around
you need
wildly
to.
on
You need
this.
to.
Elrad, Will, Tantalandra, Commander, I have no idea whatsoever how much anyone is going to listen to me. I will speak up only if you give me cue to do so. If you want me to attempt to bridge this situation, I will. But obviously it's on your say-so on how we're proceeding.
Obviously, my every intention is to resolve this with reason.
Of course.
I am not confident what it is she thinks she is doing. But given that you are a diplomatic civilian liaison, whilst you are under the command of the Iskandar, I would not deem it inappropriate for you to speak. If I believe that your speaking is making matters worse, I will make it clear. But
Obviously,
would-
the ideal outcome for my government is that this proceeds with no weapons fire, but it is also not in the best interest of the Cardassian government for a Cardassian ship to take a Starfleet officer into custody for spurious reasons.
exactly.
But
I would entirely value your input. I imagine that she and I imagine she is not going to find me a receptive negotiator.
no, suppose, or the only advice I can give is not advice I think will necessarily be useful. It is possible that at some point it may be advisable to make some sacrifice to her pride.
Do you have any ideas for that, or will that be something we must think of in the field?
I fear it will be contextual. However, it may be, if we wish to avert violence, then some acceptance of her apparent superiority may mollify her into this. Pushing, taking the hard stance may work perfectly well because, if nothing else, I think that she will recognize that she is not in a very good position right now. However, that may make her think that it is sensible to give in, or she may believe that she is cornered. And she also, it's about face, Commander. At the very least, it is probably best if a diplomatic solution is reached, and it is one which allows Gulnido to maintain a sense of face.
Then, Mr. Elred, I am very content to take a harder line stance if you wish to
Negotiate. I understand. It's not usually this way around.
Indeed. I'm usually quite a soft touch.
Door opens. You step out into the hangar bay of.
The
He did just
vi-
help it.
The vibes of Elrad and Talandra as good cop, bad cop is just.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Why this
I'm
way?
hyped.
This is immaculate.
The team that awaits you, there are 2 immediate observations, 3 in fact to be made. One of which is that they do have weapons. The weapons are not trained on you, they are to hand. The second of which is that Gulnido is there, but towards the back. It doesn't take a genius to work out she can withdraw if fire begins.
We'll quickly say, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Third thing. No, third thing. Do third thing.
Third thing is that their numbers have seemingly been designed to match yours.
Elrad, from a positioning perspective, is not going to like wander into the middle because that's a dumb move, but he is going to do that positioning thing as soon as he can, which is like he is near but not with Starfleet. He's not going full on to position himself like in the middle of the 2 groups, even to the side, but he will be a little to one side of the Starfleet contingent. Like, it's clear he's with them, but he's not lining up with them.
Talandra steps, does the slight step forward, has her hands in the sort of neutral stance behind her back. You know, she has her phaser on her belt, but she doesn't look in any way fazed by this, and in fact will look over this security detail at Gulnido as if they're not there, and say, Gulnido, if you have a ready room we could meet to discuss in, I would like our security detail and our medical detail to inspect Ensign Strange.
Commander Talander, I of course would be delighted in making my ready room available to us all for this discussion. Given the circumstances, I'm happy to permit, eyes flick to Arcady, one of your medical staff and one of your security detail to attend on Adam Strange. She says Ensign Strange.
Gulnido, I believe, under the circumstances, might be best if if Starfleet were permitted to bring a security escort with their doctor.
I can permit one.
I'm not sure what you think the threat is here, Golnido.
The threat that I am trying to ascertain is the seeming sabotage upon the Tovos by Starfleet. I hope that goes some way to explain my caution in this matter.
Your caution is understandable, Golnido, but given the circumstances, you can see why we also are acting with caution. This is your ship, after all. You are on your home territory. I am not comfortable breaking protocol and sending a security officer alone on this detail. 2 is standard.
I'm going to need a roll.
Shit. Wow,
Yeah.
a bread roll.
Give me a bread roll. This will be a rapport, making a positive connection to someone and a list of positive emotions.
Oh, do I have rapport?
Quite
Yeah, I do.
possibly.
I'm just really good at rapport.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope so.
I fucking hope so.
That's a +5.
She says, if that is a standard operating practice for this kind of detail, then yes, I permit to.
Is the intention then for Ensign Strange to then be released, Goltovad? Or Goltovad, Jesus, name Golnido?
As the investigation is ongoing, I am going to assign your medical detail and security detail to quarters and have Adam Strange brought to them as we undertake our portion of the conversation. I would request that Ensign Adam Strange remain in the quarters under mutual observation until we come to a conclusion.
That is amenable to me. Lead on.
Very well. Right this way. The 2 guards that stood ahead of Nido flank the security detail and the slight form of Arcady, and they move on to a different part of the Tovos. The bulk of the team are led to the ready room. There is distance sufficient between Nido and her entourage and Elrad and Talandra, so if there is a conversation you want to have in the corridor prior to going into the meeting room, you can.
If she begins to try to divide your team, apprehend your doctor, I recommend possibly at that point that you consider withdrawing, and I will make use of the fact of my own liberty aboard to do what I can from here.
I shall take that under advisement.
If she wishes to escalate further, which that would be.
I am not interested in subdividing the team any further. I trust Lieutenant Zal's judgment in this matter.
Indeed.
You are led into a ready room. The lights are dim, but this has been persistent throughout your travel through the Tovos. You do get the impression that this is a ship that has been wrecked and is in dire need of repairs. Even crossing through, there are blackened portions of corridors that just give it this slightly more oppressive feel. And were it not for the fact that you can see Cardassian soldiers working in earnest to try and make repairs, this would just simply and outright be a threatening place. Whether or not that is truly, yes, or home, one might say. You make it to the ready room. There is a long curved table, a bottle of Canar, which is corked, and there is no motion to uncork it as Gul Sonnet Nido takes her place at the head of the table. 2 security detail are there, and there is also a Cardassian that I don't think any of you have met, but stands clearly a little ahead of the guards in the room, you would assume possibly a second in command, but it's hard to tell. The uniforms don't betray anything in terms of rank.
Can I tell?
Yeah, that's I guess. Even though they're all kind of the same angular thing.
Yeah.
That's not the second in command. You would probably guess that's a head of a department.
Yeah.
But that's not the XO. You imagine the XO is currently on the bridge.
Do I think engineer or security?
You would guess engineer.
Okay.
This shithead.
It's
This
this shithead.
fucking
Oh, it's this
shithead right
fuckhead.
here.
We've not met, but you're a fuckhead.
We've not met, but I want to kill you the most.
My empathy is high enough. They did it. It's them.
Gul Nido, now you found empathy, you're just using it every turn. Like, yeah, I'll roll empathy on that.
Insight check.
I'm going to fuck this wall panel right up.
What do you mean I found empathy? Empathy's my top stat.
You said, is that a skill? Do I have it?
Oh, I said that about
Technically,
rapport.
Oh, rapport, forgive me, I got it mixed up. That would have been a funny joke if I was right, like most of what I say.
So, Mike, do you want us to just pretend that that's
Yeah.
what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, Michael, you card.
James, edit this bit out.
Yeah,
James, for love of God, edit this bit out.
Can you edit it to make Mike funny? And me. Can you make me funny? Just
It's all funny.
Mute Mike throughout.
It's fine.
Nido begins. I will give you the understanding of the situation aboard the Tovos as I understand it. At 1800 hours, we suffered a electromagnetic pulse that tore through our primary impulse system and has taken many of our primary and secondary systems, if not completely offline, then partially offline. We have been able, once we emergently dropped out of warp, to put all primary systems back in place. However, during this period, there was an extended period of time where Ensign Adam Strange was left alone in the engineering chamber, upon which our medical team were able to recover him following the explosion and treat his wounds. Upon interception, I have also been shown this, and she slides a Cardassian pad, which is all asymmetrical and cool.
Elrad's gonna reach for it to be like the Cardassian systems whisperer in this case.
Yeah, it's a log of changes to secondary systems and calibrations that indicate that Strange, or at least someone that has been given the designation Starfleet engineer, has gone through and taken a lot of the calibration systems offline.
Guess like Elrad's first instinct, because for all of his experience, he's not an engineer. But he is gonna try to see if this makes sense to him, either from a records perspective, if not an engineering perspective. Like, does this look at all funky? In any of that particular way? Has this been a jimmied record? Is there anything unusual about the record? Anything like that?
Let's keep it an engineering role, because that's what we're playing with here.
Get a law check for his extensive experience.
I will allow a law check, yes.
Very kind of you. Red is good for Elrad. And that is a 6.
At a glance, it seems to be fairly straightforward. But even with your understanding of Cardassian systems, this is very perfunctory in terms of information. This is essentially export data onto Excel spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
This is not actually having a look at the guts of a system at all. So while it is an accurate representation of data, you know that there are more accurate means to collate data than this way.
Mm-hmm. I see a very selective array of the data. Golmedo.
It is Glyn Val that speaks up at that. Yes, we are currently we are currently undertaking repair efforts to some of the primary systems of the engineering array. Once we have those systems fully operational, we have every intention to scour them too, but I hope that goes some way in explaining why we had to act quickly.
Sorry, you're saying that you are unable to provide us with a complete, or even me, with a complete record of engineering systems alterations because you're suffering some systems malfunctions and difficulties at present.
Sonnet Nido says that is correct.
Well, then surely that casts the accuracy of this data into question.
I have no reason to assume that this data would be inaccurate. We can verify it once the systems are online, but given this as the only point of data that we have as to what might have gone wrong and the aspersions that it does cast upon Ensign Strange, we had to take action and he had to be detained.
Curious then that this was the only point of data which survived your current systems issues.
This was...
Look kind of curiously at the engineer.
Vel is not speaking at this moment in time. He is doing a very much kind of looking slightly past you at the wall. Okay. You can do a rapport or
empathy,
insight.
Surely?
Empathy, yes.
Which is worse for me.
Insight check the fucker.
I'm sorry, my empathy's worse than my rapport, but ooh. That's I got +2 on the dice. That is a 3.
Yeah, that is a success. That is someone that is thinking very hard about puppies. No, he's thinking very hard about next steps.
Cool.
You can see a slight working of the jaw, clenching and unclenching. He doesn't seem troubled.
This is not someone who's... Well, he's... not sure that someone who's great. Sure. Not what you do if you're sure you've got all your cards and they're solid.
No,
yeah.
that it's very kind of what's he up to. Yeah. I forgot the question.
It was the curious then that this was the only thing that survived, basically. That you found this, but nothing else could be pulled out.
Yeah. Nido says this is the pad that Ensign Strange had on his possession while undertaking some of the system works. As he is slightly less familiar with Gala-class ships, as we were led to believe, Galor. Mr. Elrad.
That proves it. It's Gallo-class starship. You're not the real girl, and I claim my £5.
Mystery soul.
Due to his unfamiliarity with this homosexual ship, we had to.
If anybody from engineering is going to be,
you think the Iskandar
Gaylord ship, it's going to be.
We're the gayest ship.
Have you seen how gay this boy is?
I am so sorry, Gull. It seems that as you have met the ship's token heterosexual, you have made some painful misunderstandings about the ship. I urge you to turn your attention to the room that has Ensign Strange in it, and Lieutenant Zal and Dr. Burov, and you shall see we are all a bunch of queeros.
On screen, a bright rainbow.
Just on screen, and like Arcady's there, just like
they're the gayest ship.
We're just the straights who hang around them and are awfully good sports.
Yes, we're their token heterosexuals. We add legitimacy to the more traditional fans, but broadly speaking, we're for it. Allies.
Due to Ensign Strange's unfamiliarity with a Galor-class ship, he was furnished with a pad with She taps, and a blueprint of the ship comes up.
Is there any like further past record of other shit Strange was doing on this pad, or is it literally just here's the boo boo Strange did on a pad?
You try to navigate to that.
Scroll up.
And it's like the changelog name changed from Vel to Starfleet engineer. So all you had to do is scroll up. No, it does not allow you any further from these 2 points.
So sorry, I don't understand. Was this where Ensign Strange was recording all of his work?
Seemingly.
It doesn't seem complete. It seems to only list those systems.
I believe that there might have been a pad on Ensign Strange's possession too that has not been quite so successfully recovered, but we can surrender it to you as Starfleet property.
Why? Belnita, obviously there are some question marks around this situation. I think that possibly best if we all take a step back, and he'll do the show of like giving Talandra a look as well, because that's what you've got to do when you're playing Peacemaker. If we all took a step back, accepted that frankly the exact circumstances of what happened to the Tovos are unclear, and are also really not where everyone's attention should be at present. If Ensign Strange can return to the Iskandar, you can make the decision as to whether or not you accept Starfleet assistance or not. Ship systems can be examined once you are fully functional, and any further steps can be considered at that point. If, Commander Talanji, you would find such a delay to this resolution politically, judicially acceptable.
Once Ensign Strange has been returned to the Iskandar, we would be happy to render any and all assistance to the Tovos and its systems.
I would like a report from Kalev Elrad at this stage.
Neat. Okay, I'm gonna use a fate point and invoke my people must change.
You must change, starting with you, Nida.
To what's my difficulty?
This is going to be a difficulty 3.
Then I will reroll. That's better. That's now a +2 instead of a -3, so that's a 4.
Okay. You get this very much from watching her facial expression before she has got a chance to speak on it. You, probably more than anyone else in this room, can see that she is somewhat out of her depths as a brand new captain, trying to muddle through a potential diplomatic incident. And more than anything else, as you're saying this, she is nodding. It's pretty clear that for all of her sharpness and bluster, she is well aware of, to put it blunt and terms that might even come to Elrad's mind, something she can't have redacted from her record. And if she's coasted along and got to this position by getting some fucky wookies swept under the carpet, this one might mark the end of it. So she looks very, very cautious, and you can see it. Like, she doesn't necessarily want to fuck this one up either. She is softening to your words, and she will look up and say, I find these terms acceptable.
Very good. If then the commander can be permitted to rejoin with her officer down at the quarters to which Ensign Strange is being kept and return to the Iskandar, which I'm content to do, but I think If that is so, if that is agreeable to you, Gull.
She says, "I," and klaxons sound. She looks the door with a sharpness for yourself, Elrad. The ship has just gone into yellow alert. She looks to you, and then without apology, she makes to leave the room.
I'm like falling into step kind of with her.
Yeah. You all pile onto the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And like a Cardassian is like swinging around from where he stood at his console and says, "Captain, we've got an no, Captain, forgive me, Gull, we've got an incoming vessel." She says on screen, and we see a portion of the storm get enhanced. It is peeling apart, like someone moving through a fog cloud, and several ships, quite much smaller than the Tovos, smaller than the Iskandar, but of unusual and angular design, are kind of blip into existence, having come out of warp. You see two of them peel off, and one of them heads towards the Tovos. And another Cardassian says, "They're readying weapons." We're going to cut to bridge of the USS Iskandar. In fact, "they're readying weapons" isn't said by a Cardassian.
Mm-hmm.
It's said by Kowalski. And you are seeing, same shot, different angle, the outermost ship peeling off to turn towards the Iskandar.
How many are there again?
3.
What condition is the Tovos in for combat readiness?
She is not combat ready.
Well, neither is that convoy, and there are 3 of them.
The convoy is where the third ship is going.
Right. Open a channel to the Tovos.
Neo appears on screen. Tovos here. You can see the Iskandar crew plus Elrad behind.
Gull, I'm going to obviously try to talk these people down. I don't think that's going to work. What's your capacity to keep pace with us if we move to full speed?
None.
We have to protect the civilian ships. My current intention is to try to intercept one and then drag them over to the third one, which is making for the convoy. Can you contend with even one on your own?
We have no bearing on their weapon system as of yet. We have no impulse. On screen on the Iskandar, shots are fired from each of the ships.
Mm-hmm.
You see a flash of red come across the bridge. Nito looks up sharply. You see everyone on the bridge lurch. The feed cuts out. For yourselves, a shot rings off the shields.
We have to protect the civilian. The civilian ships in any condition to run or outrun these ships, Kantos?
Depends how fast these new ships can actually go. The convoy's in good condition, taking no damage from whatever happened to the Tovos, so they can run. But I don't know if they can outrun.
Do we have anything on sensors on the speed of those ships when they were incoming?
Did we?
They came out of warp. Difficult to say what degree of warp.
By the time we picked them up on the sensors, I guess it's too late.
They'd already started decelerating out of warp.
Right, to get the convoy ship, order them to come close to us. We're going to have to make this a ring fight instead.
On it, Captain. Send message to my buddy Bertrand.
Yeah, you get a brief on screen. Vaughn and Cad Quilton kind of come on screen. They're mid-rock. An ODS conduit bursts with sparks. And Vaughn says, "We are under fire."
Yeah. Bring the convoy in close to the Iskandar, Bertrand. We'll try and keep you protected that way.
Okay.
Do you need any extra engineers coming on to use to help you with repairs or anything from the initial shot?
I don't think so. Not at this. There's another flash, and their screen winks out. Izzy, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was just waiting for a break in the drama because I want to jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Aboard the Tovos, I know we've been shot. Was
Yeah.
that was I assume we've been rocked, stuff's happening, but we're still fine, just battered and stuff.
The report comes in from a Cardassian on the bridge. There's been a breach on one of the lower decks. At this moment in time, Nido is giving commands to start shutting that deck down and evacuating civilians. 2 lives have been lost.
Nido, are
Commander.
any of your weapon systems still intact?
Forward phases.
Talandra is already backing up to the door, preparing to go at a run. Remain in contact with me. I will go to the shuttle.
You're going to pipe a sensor telemetry?
The plan, Talandra's plan for the world is that she's going to go out in the shuttle, run interference, use the sensors, liaise back to the Tovos, and use the shuttle basically as a distraction, run around while the Tovos fires as best it can.
Take Senate Zalta weapons. I'm going to stay here and see if I can help.
Understood.
Zal falls in steps.
Well, he's elsewhere, so I imagine
Yeah.
she instead goes like
Oh yeah, that's true. Forgive me.
Mm-hmm.
Zal, meet me at Shuttle Bay.
You
Burov
have
has
a
been
gunner.
Burov has been there with Strange. Probably it's just like
Yeah, like we get a scene. You in this room, you don't know what's going on. You know that Strange's wounds have been tended to, and you're in the process of just giving him a little wibbly woo with the thing. You heard the ship go into yellow alert. It's now lurching. The lights have flickered and dimmed. The security personnel at the door respond to a call, and one of them actively departs. And then that chime comes in from Talandra, and Zal looks at Burov. I need to go.
go. It's okay.
And he strides out.
I think Burov, if they've been heard, like all the reports coming in from the ship, will look at Strange, who is fine, isn't he? Like just beaten up, but like fine in the sense of Star Trek. Like he's
you have not taken any consequences. You
Okay.
maybe had stress that has been alleviated.
That has been
from,
gone because
yeah.
the scene's passed. Sorry, drag myself into Strange Brain because I was still doing that scene on the desk.
We will return to that. It's very snappy at the moment. I do apologize.
Yeah.
no. I was just gonna say, are you going to be okay?
I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Okay, Colonel.
If you need to go,
Colonel, stay with Strange. Do not leave Strange's side. Do not do anything other than protect Ensign Strange.
Yes, Doctor.
And then Burov is going to run up to the Cardassian security officer who vanishes into Mike's grinning face. Burov is going to run up to the security officer and I guess attempt to be intimidating, but you know they never really have that vibe going on, and just go, "Take me to your sickbay immediately.
No.
There is an emergency happening aboard this ship. You need help. Take me to your sickbay. People are dying."
Right down the corridor, third left.
Thank you. Burov takes off at a sprint. There is a situation unfolding aboard this ship. People are getting involved.
Mike's not here for it. Mike's not here.
As far as
Yeah,
they're
there we go.
concerned, their job was making sure that Strange was well and okay and being well treated.
Yep. You peel off towards medical. Back to the bridge of the Iskandar, Kantos.
right. So we've got the convoy coming into us.
Yep.
And we've got the Tovos has been fired upon.
What are the defenses
think-
on the convoy ships?
They
if any?
have small
Shields.
amount of shielding.
There's small amounts of shielding. Okay.
Like they do fortunately need to be quite hardy to even travel through the expanse, but they're not like battle ready.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. Kantos is going to be looking for where can they move the Iskander to, so it's as in the way as possible. So because we're going to have to beat the tank here.
This is a wagon fight, and
This
we're going to
is-
circle the wagons.
Yep. Except there's only one of us, so we can't do a circle, but we'll do what we can. So, yeah, I'll Kantos to kind of identify where they can move the Isk to, so it's kind of mostly shielding the convoy, but if they can also get the Isk shielding some of the Tovos as well, that's great.
Give me a pilot roll for that.
Hell yeah. 5.
Okay. Mark this down somewhere on the character sheet so you've got it for next session.
Yep.
You have created an advantage, which is basically predictive movements.
Okay.
You are able to kind of look at their trajectories, look at the position in space of yourselves, the Tovos, the civilians, and look at the trajectories of the 3 ships. You've not only been able to mark where they might move to next, but also like the additional, you're doing like a quick chess game of, if I move here, what's my opponent going to do? With the added complication of all the dimensions available in known space.
Yep.
But you are able to very quickly get a assessment of that situation and pick a few points of first point, fallback point, and intercept points thereabouts.
Yep.
From Tharn, Lieutenant Casey, I want you to give a solid scan on the area and identify if there are any further of those ion surges or any other phenomena pockets in the vicinity. If we have a landscape, let's see if it's one which we need to avoid or can use.
Yes, Captain.
In which case, Lieutenant Kantos, I'm going to have to ask you to fly in a way to keep us out of danger, but for wherever possible, allow us to present fore or aft torpedoes directed to give us a targeting angle on a second ship so we can try to engage 2 at once.
Captain, we've got a few spots for us to go to that should help keep the convoy and some of the Tovos out of trouble as well, so...
If possible, if we can attempt to engage them and get them to, frankly, want to chase us in any way, try to draw them in a line of fire where the Tovos' weapons can engage.
Captain. Cantus will fly the
Yes, we
Isk accordingly.
Saddle up for the end of the run up to initiative and the end of this, I assume. Yeah.
Oh, we're going into ship combat now.
Considering I've also now managed to confirm that the shuttle will have weapons, does have pretty decent weapons aboard, I am content with that.
Yep.
Yeah, that was certainly why Elrond was like, bring a gunner, because you can do it all yourself, but it's better if you have a gunner.
We get the shot of the Iskandar peeling off into position, of Talandra and Zal launching the shuttle out of the Tovos' hangar bay, of the Tovos starting to read that initial telemetry data, Nido kind of glancing back at Elrad and then starting to issue orders. NBs, ladies and gentlemen, this was Star Trek Iskandar.
Oh.
Ooh. Well, that took a turn.
That did.
Exciting cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger.
It's
Just think I was ready to blow her up. Like, you don't fucking capture my officers, I will go full Adama on your ass. It will end
My captain
badly.
does care about me.
But also, what I love is that she did a dumb thing, but like I can kind of see her perspective in that it's obvious she did a dumb thing and then went, oh God, what a mistake.
Especially if she was manipulated by her chief engineer.
Yeah, and now we're in the middle of a situation and I love it. I love how split up we are. Like, genuinely, I always love a good action sequence when you're hopping between 800 things at once. It makes my brain hurt, but I love it.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot, but I'm really excited about doing it. This is going to be exciting.
Look, at least we've got a whole week to prepare ourselves emotionally.
Yeah.
I have to run 2 bridges because it's gonna happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was briefly like, I was like, is he gonna go with her? No. He needs to make sure this fucking bridge doesn't collapse with this nervous as fuck inexperienced captain on a.
Oh my god, he's such a good gull as well. Like he's like.
Yeah, Elrad's the one who's going to end up captaining the Tovos for this next scene.
2 ships at once.
Yeah, and also Talander and Zal are such a I never realized just such a fucking dream team to have on this shuttle gunner run. She's actually a really good
I
pilot.
had my tactical officer.
Yeah, but I need him because I'm in a shuttle.
You did that to yourself.
Yeah, you've got nobody to blame but yourself for jumping into the shuttle.
I am helping. We need as many points in the initiative order as possible. Also, Burov being like, "Oh well, I don't care about what's going on here. I'm going to go help."
Very Burov.
Excellent. Good shit.
Yeah. Look, Burov's going to be in that sick bay. Like, what are they going to do?
Just for Strange to break out and do some guerrilla engineering.
That's on Strange. That's not on Burov. Burov is not Strange's keeper, although it's kind of nice.
As if Strange would have been thinking about how to break out of his jail cell.
As if
That's the kind of thing that he'd do. Really.
Don't lock up Starfleet engineers. It's not a good idea.
No, but yeah, no, he's clearly going to be a good prisoner and not be working on how to take down the prison.
He was very good. He waited until like a situation had changed. He was like, the Iskandar got involved. It seems that the situation has changed. Oh, we're under attack. Oh, I might as well help.
I mean,
also,
who knows what he's been doing in the background? We've not covered that yet.
What it occurred to me is that
we need to wind back a bit to cover.
It occurred to me that Arcady is still mad at Strange. Like Arcady still hasn't socially talked to Strange, but I love that in that moment Arcady like didn't forget, but was just like, "Are we good? Are you good? Are things happening?" And Strange is like, "I am well. I am not dying. All is well." And then Arcady left. But like that's probably the first time they've really spoken, aside from, does it hurt? Did they hurt you? Are you okay? Does this hurt?
Yeah.
Well done, Michael.
Thank you.
That was good stuff, Mike. Good shit.
I'm very energized.
It's dramatic.
I'm going to be watching.
I got blown up. That's always a good session.
You got blown up. I didn't even give you a choice in the matter. I was like, you blow up now.
Fine. I'm good with that.
I'm going to have to fight all of these Cardassians.
To be honest, you could have started the session with, okay, so Ensign Strange, you blow up, and Roomba would have gone,
Yep.
Write that down. Noted.
We've got the same notes here of Strange must suffer.
I am going to be watching the scene with Detmer and Rin flying against Arissa's ship from Discovery season 3.
Bear in mind, like we're talking with this is a dinky little shuttle.
I know it's not a cool.
It's not even a runabout. This isn't even like a Delta Flyer scale kind of thing. Although it would make sense if like the Intrepid had like something smaller than the Danube class runabout.
If it helps, I'm currently speaking with my expert in the subject to ensure that I'm fully appraised of what my options are for next week.
I can almost hear Luke like charging into the room because it's got a great opportunity to mention the class's yachts, which is never seen on screen.
Bagoas.
The Bagoas.
I'm not speaking with Luke. I'm speaking to my deep lore expert. There's Luke, and then there is our mystery buddy. Hi, mystery buddy.
Hi, mystery buddy.
Although I think, technically speaking, we might have 2 separate options of shuttle classes for what's on a Intrepid, because I think they changed it up at a certain point through. Thanks.
Cool.
Basically, if you love ship combat, join us next week, everyone, for
You
Hot
care
ship to
more
ship
than
action.
anyone else does about shuttles.
Issue 3 of the space is bad and violent.
I
My-
guarantee that's the finale. We're not going past 3 episodes on this arc.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Bold of you to make that assumption, Mike.
I don't think that's true, is it, Michael? I think
No,
you're
I-
telling us a lie.
I'm pretty confident that we were gonna get 3 episodes, and then it'll be someone else's turn.
I guess
Cool.
we're pulling on all-nighter next week, folks. Join
Yeah.
us for next week's 24-hour Star Trek Iskandar stream as we roleplay at everything that Mike has set up.
Join us for next week's session, episode 3, subtitle. Carnell and Strange finally have that really long heart-to-heart.
Do you think I'm a bad engineer? I have no screen time.
Do you think I'm a
I
bad
don't have a
engineer?
character voice.
Kinda.
Yeah, me
Kinda,
too.
but also, like,
I also think I'm a bad engineer, so, you know.
And then Carnell goes, you know, you really can't with that negative self-talk. I remember I used to struggle with that.
no. Here's how it goes. Karno's like, yeah, probably bad engineer. Listen, I want to ask Kowalski out. How?
I'm not the right person to ask about his
You
death,
have one of
so-
the longest established romances on this ship. So,
The person who could advise you on that has literally just run out the door. Arcady, come back. I'll go to sickbay.
Arcady, we've got a romance problem here.
on the ship goes, Commander, you're in a relationship, aren't you? I'm not answering that question. Right? Yep, right.
Technically.
I think, did she fucking stutter? I'm not answering that question.
yeah. But thank you very much. I think we
Yeah.
should exhaust before my
I think
tech
we
craps
should.
out again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining us. We shall see you next week in sunny old September for the finale of the space battles and lasers in the midst of chaos. Yep, that's what it's called. Tarara bit.
Tarara